Come and talk to me.
Lennard Ray. That's
Come
your
on.
name.
Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type, but baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Look, see, we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you, no doubt about it. Boosie, I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it, that shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type, but baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Lady, you so far ahead of these others, just like a ship on the horizon. Picking up on your vibe, signal stronger than Verizon. All the thoughts that I've been contemplating, ain't no time for faking or debating. You the one, ain't no mistaking. Look, I see your swag different. Always carry yourself like you ready and on a mission. I had to know you, I'm tempted. I can see why you timid. Hold up now, baby, listen. Just take that dance with me, I can show you that there's a difference. I'm locked in. I throw away my playaways because you pop in. A shooter always shoot a shot. With you by my side, I guarantee we'll reach the top. I put that on God and them, I give you all that I got. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type, but baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take that chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk, yeah. I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me.
Hold up. Go nuts. Skirting around the city limit, we cruising, the two of us. Bible and bubble kush keep us high from thoughts of Lucifer. Niggas tripping, we dip, ain't no playing, boy, we tooling up. Tragedies happen when it's family happen to crumble up. Fingers grip the wheel, is the basis steady, let's take a turn. All I see is evil that's lurking and trying to make shit worse. I just want the joys of the world to dive in and make us splurge, but they'd rather cuff us and kill us and treat us like the purge. I'm cruising with smiling faces, but ain't no doubt that my mind is racing and contemplating. I go for broke so my family can live it above the basement, and Uncle P can continue lectures and show his greatness. Anyways, I'm just rotating my tires and letting the bass sink in. Turbo spooling, I drive away, killing the weekend. Trying to find me a peace of mind. May I recline, cruise set, phone ringing, but I politely decline as I tried to swallow my pride. I tried to end the call. For some reason I just gotta be the boss. Yeah. I tried to swallow my pride. I tried to end the call. Yeah. For some reason I just gotta be the boss. Hold up. Yeah, we on it. Yeah, we out here. My mind is posted shielded from acid thoughts that's corrupt.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks to those that returned back, and welcome to those that have never been here before to another fantastic episode of Behind Them Sticks with your boy Ham Solo 05 Gaming, or as Mike and everybody likes to say in our party chat, Ham Solo 05. So anyways, let's continue.
Especially Bill.
Oh, good
especially
God. Bill is the worst culprit. So I have a very special episode today. I actually do another podcast with this gentleman right here. So definitely check us out on some of our other channels. I'll let him talk about those here just momentarily. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick other special announcement. I have his gameplay right up here above, right here. So you can see him dooming it up because he is the nastiest, most just diabolical Doom player that I've ever met. Really good at the game. I mean, check out what he can do. Like what he can do is what I imagine myself doing when I'm downloading the game, and then I get into the game and figure out that I'm complete ass at it and I can't do any of that stuff. But anyways, Mike, or better yet, Hard Days Mike, thank you for coming on today. Please let everybody know what gaming and social media platforms they can catch you on, so either they can game with you or check out some of your content and whatnot.
Don't find me. I don't exist. No.
Fantastic.
Don't find me. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Just kidding. I'm on Twitter, I guess. I'm Hard Days Mike at Twitter. I sometimes stream on Twitch, which is Hard Days Mike as well. On Xbox, it's Hard Days Mike. And I gotta be honest with you, I can't even remember my PSN ID, so I can't even remember that off the top of my head. But yep, if you want to add me there, send me a message anywhere. Tell me how much you hate me. That's fine as well. Just keep it not too rough. That's fine. But
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
I am in the. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention the other podcast. I also do that as well, but I don't know if that's the question yet. So I'll just wait.
All right. Well, it's really nice to have you here, bud. We've been planning to do this since, like, I think you mentioned it earlier, like December.
Yeah, November, December, something like that. Yeah,
absolutely. So it's really good to have you here. As you guys can see in the top right corner of the screen, I forgot to add his name and stuff like that on there. So I'll be adding that during the episode, unfortunately. But I figure we're good enough, and plus he's on another one of my podcasts. Oh my goodness! Of course you're not good enough for your own name. but anyways, bro, what are you playing right now, other than the almighty Doom?
Well, other than Doom, I've been first. I want to say super quick. Hi Zig, thank you for stopping by. Just wanted to acknowledge them real quick. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim, like an absurd amount of that game, and I am still discovering stuff like to a crazy amount of just the amount of content that game had for something that came out in 2011 is insane. I absolutely adore that game. Literally, Matt just mentioned it before I actually joined the podcast. Game Drain, Matt was talking about in an episode, and I was like, you know what, I should really just go download Skyrim. And I think I played for like 5 hours that night. It's all I did, and that's actually a lot for me. I as you, Matt, and all of my friends know, sometimes it's hard for me to play games for a very long time in a row. Mm-hmm. So when that happened, oh my god! And I have so many mods downloaded. I'm about to try. I got a lot going on, man. I'm really excited to keep playing that. It's a great game. I really recommend everyone just go replay it. Yeah.
Matt Likes Games in the chat said, "Go trim." I don't know.
That's a really weird thing to say, Matt.
Go trim.
That's really weird, Matt.
No, he's really saying goat rim. I'm just trying to make it sound absolutely terrible because I'm just a horrible person and I like to hate on all the good games. But anyways,
no, it's valid.
Let's go on ahead and shout out the chat real quick. Thanks everybody for being here. We already got 7 concurrent viewers, which is dope. Good strong start. We got Blind Giant in the chat. Matt Likes Games. Blind Giant, did I say your name better this time, bud, or do you feel terrible still from the last time I welcomed you to a chat? But anyways, we also got Too Big up in the chat. Ziggy Zoggy, Stank Ma, Thanks everybody for showing up and continuing to show that support. And thanks those of you that came out to check Mike out. I'm sure he really appreciates that. Make sure to go up and hit that like button. And if you appreciate this type of content, go on ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. I would dearly appreciate it. And it'd help me continue to pump out dope content for you guys. But anyways, moving along. So you already said what you've been playing as of lately. When we were in the green room just a little bit ago, you were telling me some of the old consoles and stuff like that that you were messing around with. Now, tell me real quick, what was like the first few that you kind of dabbled with? Because you said your family was already kind of into gaming, right?
Yes. Because of my older brother, he had like the Sega Genesis, the SNES, he had an N64, and a lot of those were technically, came out when he was just a baby. So when he really got them, they were like on super sale pretty much. So for me, for the longest time, I really didn't have the concept of new or old games because I literally just played whatever was right next to the system I was looking at. To me, like the PS1 was the same thing as the PS2. The SNES is the same thing as the N64. Like it was weird. Like it didn't matter to me. But really, the original games systems I'd play on were the SNES, Sega Genesis, and really Windows 98 PC, to be honest with you. And then eventually, my first console that was as a gift to me for Christmas was the PlayStation 1 with a copy of Spyro and Gran Turismo. And it's a shame that the graphics haven't changed much since the PS1. I'm just kidding.
Goodness, there we go with the shade. So you said it was the original Gran Turismo that you played?
I'm trying to remember which one, but it was one of the originals.
Yeah, it was either one or two, and they're fairly
it's probably
similar.
one. It's probably one.
Yeah, yeah, one was pretty good. Two was my jam. I played the living hell out of that game.
Yeah.
My favorite car that was the Pikes Peak. I think it was like the Escudo Pikes Peak. It was a Suzuki car, but it's crazy, stupid fast. It was so fast that you could make the front two tires lift up off of the ground, and
Really?
to be able to do that in a game like that to me was like jaw dropping when I was a little kid. But
okay.
No, continue, please.
For me, my main game on the PS1 was Crash Team Racing.
CTR, nice.
Dude, I'm a massive Crash Bandicoot fan. Like it's insane. I adore those games so much. So that was my main racer. Never really was much of a Mario Kart guy, except Mario Kart DS was a masterpiece. I will say that. That's probably my favorite Mario Kart game, which is a weird thing to say. I'm all over the place. But
you're fine. You're fine. You're just doing your thing. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, dude, really interesting. I really want to know like a little bit more though. Like, can you tell me like what got you into it other than, you had it available to yourself, right? But like, how did you actually find yourself like, man, like I got to come back and continue to play, or I'm a gamer now, When did that happen?
Half-Life. On my gifted to me Windows 98 PC that ran like a fucking turd in the sun, but I was so grateful for it. It had Half-Life, it had Half-Life, it had Counter-Strike, it had Team Fortress Classic, it had Opposing Force, it had Wanted, it had Jedi Knight. When I tell you, so like for me, as you guys know, my biggest and favorite like things to play are first-person shooters. And once again, realistically, until Halo on console, where if you wanted to play a first-person shooter, it was PC. And the games too. I know there was things like GoldenEye, but I mean, like a really streamlined shooter. You know what I mean? Competitive, blah blah blah. So like for me, Counter-Strike was huge. Pardon me as I burp on ginger ale. But Counter-Strike 1.6. My brother one day said, "Hey Mike, do you want to try this out? We can just play in a lobby versus each other." I got fucking slaughtered 1,000 times over, but I'm like, this is pretty cool. Like, this is really interesting. And he's like, hey, if you really like this, you should check out Half-Life. And then it was just something clicked. And I probably played Half-Life. Yep, Star Wars Jedi Knight. I played Half-Life probably every single day. And then Jedi Knight, Dark Forces, and Dark Forces 2, and then the sequels that were on the original Xbox are also fantastic. But Valve was really what got me into gaming. Valve are definitely are the ones who got me into being a gamer. If I had to
So
say
it wasn't PlayStation or Xbox, it was
No.
PC gaming that got you.
It was.
That's pretty cool.
Now I can't. Yeah, now I can't be asked with it anymore. There's too much shit going on. I can't deal with it anymore.
It is a lot compared to the ease of, these consoles and how much performance you can get out of these consoles nowadays compared to back then.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. I mean, not that you got like a crazy amount of
Oh,
power.
no way.
Matt in the chat saying silly stuff like Mike's Windows 98 PC had an RTX 3090 in it. Like, the fuck? What are you talking about? Shut up, Matt.
I have no idea who Cocoa Puffs is, but thank you for the vibes. I have no idea. But thank you.
Yeah, that's what's
Happy
up.
to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, Coco. Thanks for being in the chat and catching this program today. But I just kind of want to know, like, so you said that, Half-Life and everything was a big part of how you got into gaming. At what point did you think, like, like, I'm following gaming now, like, regularly? Like, I mean, other than PC, what was, like, maybe a first jump to a console where you felt, like, attached to?
The original Xbox, without a doubt. When I got my original Xbox, okay, so my introduction to really being, like, understanding, like, the game industry literally really didn't happen until probably 2012, 2011. Like, that's when I really started to understand, like how video games kind of, like, came out, their development cycle, their, like, costs. It's really weird because it just kind of, like, I always just kind of played whatever the fuck I could find. I don't know if I'm supposed to swear, so sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Continue. You're totally fine to say whatever you want as long as it's not malicious
crazy
towards anybody.
Yeah, I gotcha. But really, the original Xbox I felt a huge connection with, and it's probably the most important console to me that I personally own because, when I got it, I believe it was 2 games. Or was it 3? I think Tony Hawk was on my PlayStation 2 a few years later, but that was my brother's. Anyways, I got Counter-Strike for my Xbox, which I love that. And I got a game called SWAT, which everyone kind of dumps on it now. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. But it was really the original Xbox. And then, but when I started keeping up with gaming as a whole, instead of it just being something I did, it was the Xbox 360 generation and Game Informer, because I didn't have normal internet access until about 2012. And even then, it wasn't stable enough to really do anything until, like, 2014. So, I mean, I could play games online, but, like using my computer for that stuff to look things up was a nightmare. But yeah, so it really was like that whole, like, 2011 to 2014 is when, like, I really kind of understood how, I knew I liked gaming.
Okay, fair enough. Now, with that being said, I'm just kind of thinking about, like, what made you transition from Xbox to PlayStation? Because, I mean, we have a history of talking, and you told me prior to going back into Xbox, you were really big into PlayStation for a little bit, almost like a fan, or like overzealous fan for.
I absolutely was, and I'm something I'm very not. But I will admit, I was like mid-late teens, and at least I'm not a grown man in my 30s. But
right, fair enough.
Or 40s, whatever, or really 20s too. Anyway, whatever. But yeah. So when Xbox announced the Xbox One and its DRM and all that stuff, I had very finicky internet. Like, I had me having internet was not a guaranteed thing. So when they're like, "Oh, you just go buy a 360," you once a day check online, I saw red. Like, I was like, I've been a loyal customer since the original Xbox. I got got my original. I got a 360. I got a 360 Elite Slim. I bought most of my multi-platform games on there, and when I felt burned, I was like, and I'll do it again. Like, I mean, these companies I don't owe these people shit. So if anyone fucks me, I'm out. So I basically just left. I went to PlayStation, but kind of came to find out the games I loved from PlayStation, they stopped making, which are Infamous, Killzone, and Resistance. So basically after 2015, my PlayStation kind of went to the wayside, and I just kind of stopped gaming actually for 5 years, really. 4 years. I kind of stopped really playing in like late 2015 to actually really when the Series X launched, to be honest with you.
So like 2020, yeah, that's about 5 years, bro.
Yeah, I'd maybe play something every once in a while for like 10 minutes and just be like, meh. But I also had some health stuff going on that made it hard for me to play video games. So, but
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I got to ask the question because we're all probably sitting here watching you just make all these ridiculous kills super fast in styles that many of us can't do. I want to know when Doom became such a big deal for you, and like, was it something that you played like really young as a kid, or is this like something that you just were like you fell into it and all of a sudden you're a badass? How did that happen?
So basically, I used to play the original Doom on my Windows 98 PC and Doom 2. Doom never really became like a thing for me. It was always something I played. It was always something I enjoyed, but it was never really a thing. I enjoyed Doom 2016 to a point. I thought it was fun. But even when Doom Eternal came out, I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll get it eventually. When I got my Series X, it's in Game Pass by then because Microsoft announced the acquisition of Bethesda. I played it. I actually got very far, almost to the ending, but for some reason I dropped it. Then, in the late summer of 2021, I was actually going through a really rough time, and they dropped the next-gen update of Doom Eternal. And I was like, all right, you know what, let's give this game another shot. And it was like instant connection of like, holy shit, this is the best shooter I've ever played. It's fantastic. And I wasn't that good. I know right there, you know, I'm looking like a fucking, like a psychopath on the screen there. And if you keep seeing me look down, it's just me looking at my phone. But it took me probably over 100 hours of playing that game religiously to even get that good. Like, for example, like I could do like an Ultra Nightmare run of like the DLCs for fun or the master levels for fun. I haven't done it for the base campaign yet because it's not, the idea of starting from absolutely nothing is not a fun idea to me. It just doesn't sound fun. I like having all my weapons. I like killing everything at breakneck speeds. I really don't want to start over again. That just doesn't really sound that fun to me. But yeah, it really, Doom was just kind of something always there in the background, and I was just going through a rough time during the summer, and I was like, I need something that will occupy my brain. Like, I need something. And let me tell you something. Doom on the hardest difficulty, we'll do that. We'll occupy your brain. So
I mean, I'm just sitting here watching, like, bruh, like this dude is floating in the sky and he hasn't touched the ground for a hot second, and he's like just making kill after kill after kill, and like it's every time I watch you play, it makes me want to play it, and then I go to play it and I'm disappointed because I can't be like, I want to be like Mike, you know. You know, but I just can't, and that's okay. I got to move on. But anyways, so not only are you a gamer, but you are also, you know, a Twitch streamer with your games and whatnot. I want to hear, like, what made you kind of muster up the courage to get into that, and what kind of things did you kind of think of or go through in the process of becoming a streamer? Like, was it something that was nerve-wracking to you, or is it just something that you're just like, I got my game and, you know I'm good at it, so I'm just gonna rock with it? Like what did you think about that? Because I know a lot of people, including like myself, like, I get a little anxious when I turn on a game on Twitch, especially when I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I'm just like, oh god, there's a bunch of people watching me, and I don't know what the hell. I mean, in reality, there ain't nobody watching me, but you know that kind of anxiety that you kind of get.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. Realistically, I don't exactly consider myself. Oh my god, holy crap, my phone just attacked me. Consider myself much of a streamer. What made me get into streaming originally was just the fact that I just had friends that sometimes knew I was good at certain games and they said they wanted to watch, and sometimes, they're having a bad day and I enjoy streaming for them and screaming at the top of my lungs at absolutely everything, because I'm horrified of absolutely everything, which is the reason why I haven't streamed Dead Space in like 2 weeks, because I'm horrified. But I'm like, oh my god, like I got scared of a Skyrim mod the other day. That was a horror based mod. That's another story. But yeah, so I kind of streamed off and on and off and on, whatever, for a few months. And randomly one day, Twitch was just like, "Oh yeah, you're affiliated." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." So I signed up for that. I really have no idea how I get paid, but but
Still fairly new to all
yeah,
of this.
yeah. So it's just more of something that I find fun to do, just to kind of keep me occupied, to hang out with my friends, and just have a good time.
Yeah, and I feel like we're kind of building a community. We got, Matt likes games, that likes to come in and check you out while you're streaming. All the guys out in Hawaii, Too Big and Blind Giant and Sensei and all those good guys over there, Uso Vinny, and I mean, really a great community that you're building on your own. But I mean, they're very supportive across the board. So
Yeah.
shout out to those guys for
They're
sure.
awesome.
They're awesome
They're
guys,
awesome.
and I just wanted to give them their flowers real quick because they totally deserve it.
I
But
just gotta make a quick comment, just
Go
super
ahead,
quick.
please.
I gotta address something in the chat. Who is Coco for Cocoa Puffs? I need to know who you are. All right, now you can go, because I'm curious. All right.
I'm a little curious about that too, so I'm happy that you went on ahead and announced that, because I announce yourself, Coco.
Yeah.
Let it be known
Anyway.
who you are, and are you really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
Are you one of the gremlins? That's an inside joke. But yeah,
But-
sorry. Go on.
No, you're totally fine. So, so I want to know. So you said you gamed, throughout your life, especially with the family and whatnot. Is there any generation that you wish you could kind of go back to and relive and just kind of do it right?
Probably the PS2 and original Xbox, because actually that's actually a really good one. You know what? I think I actually go back to 360 and PS3.
Ooh, okay. I feel you there. I totally feel you there.
Oh, Coco is the drive. Okay, thank you, Zig. But that's it. They're just both friends of mine. But really, it's really hard. I feel like I did everything. Matt, shut up. But I feel like I honestly, every time I played a game, I gotta stop looking at this phone because I just can't get distracted. I honestly don't think I really want to like revisit anything, to be honest with you. I kind of like to. That's a really hard question, because I feel like, if anything, not to do it right, I would really love to relive the original Xbox to 360 era again, just because of how wholesome and full video games used to make me feel. The feeling. But like, really do it right. Maybe the PS4, because in Xbox One generation, because when I got sick, I couldn't really game. So, but who knows? That's a good question though. But that's one that like I was thinking on that it's really hard to say, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I like the answers because you made me kind of think about each one, like their original Xbox and PlayStation 2, and how it wasn't so like hungry for first party games. It was just like whatever came out you got and you were happy with, and you or maybe you weren't happy with it, but that's what you had to deal with.
Yes, sir.
It is what it was. There was no update coming to fix anything.
Nope. And if there was, I didn't even have internet to fix it. So, oh my god,
there was not. It was just what it was when you had it. But what's up?
Can I, like, you got to know this. So I had like me not having internet was such a thing that, remember when Microsoft really pushed for backwards compatibility on the Xbox 360, that there was an update that actually increased the amount of backwards compatible games. Do you remember that?
If you don't, I don't know. I know.
So it was just like one of like a random update that added a ton of games. Or like it was like a select few that were only backwards compatible, or not many. I can't remember the full story, and I found out about it, and I was like, I need this update. So what I did is I ordered from Microsoft themselves a CD a DVD, mind you, with the update on it. That's
Wow.
the error, just so I could play my old games on it. I ordered a DVD from them with the update on it.
You know, you're right, because I remember my buddy doing like updates with like USBs.
Yep.
For his NCAA football 2013. He he'd get updated rosters that he had to pay for like $30-$40, and he'd plug them into his PS3, and that's how he would update the game. So it's kind of funny that you bring up like different types of ways to update your console, because there
Is my camera frozen, or am I still here?
No, your camera's frozen.
It is? Oh,
Yes.
Son of a bitch. 1 second. Fuck my life.
No, you're fine, man. Take your time. You'll be right back in a jiff. But
I think
yeah, this is a good time to actually move on to the next question. No worries. Now, throughout all of your time within gaming, I want you to pick one or two of like the most memorable moments that Hard Days Mike had that really kind of blew open the doors on gaming, particularly.
I read that question earlier, and I was still thinking on it. Probably, man, that one is, and I know I'm playing it again recently, but
Well, here, let me give you a little bit more context. So this could be like, you know, an event that you went to, playing games online for like one of the first times, or going to like somebody's crib and, you know, staying the night and, you know, pizza party and you guys are playing a bunch of games that you haven't played, or going over somebody's house that didn't have the console that you had, or, you know, there's all different kinds of moments out there.
I kind of feel like for me, and it's kind of odd, but for me, original Half-Life definitely was huge, because my most experience with games before that point were like Mortal Kombat, you know, side-scrolling type, you know, 2D sprite, you know, kind of games.
Some arcade games and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like when I played Half-Life, I was like, this shit exists. I'm like, and it was just, you know, I was hooked ever since. But realistically, and I know you're gonna be like, you're just plugging the game at this point, but one game that really, and it's not even Doom I'm talking about way back in 2011. And I think you know what game's not to mention. Was actually Skyrim. I had no idea. I had no idea about the Elder Scrolls series. I didn't even know what the hell it was. I just had a friend I remember in high school come up to me. I remember seeing the announcement trailer at the Game Awards in 2010. I'm like, oh, that was kind of cool. And then a year passes, and my friend's like, Mike, I think it was my buddy Nate. He's like, Mike, again, Skyrim? I'm like, what's that? Because he knows I played Fallout at that point, and then I enjoyed Fallout. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I'll pick it up. It's around like my Christmas, so I'll like wing it, and I'll be able to afford it. And when I say I got hooked on a game that made me like kind of like teleport to like a different world, that really like hooked me on, that really made me feel like, holy shit, this is incredible. It was definitely Skyrim. Without a doubt. And then I just played that religiously, really. Like that's all I did for months. And I remember when I beat that game finally, there was such a hole in my heart. Like when I mean like I did a majority of all the major side quests, even the minor ones, the main quest was done. There was a hole in my heart for sure. Yeah, that game to this day just still blows my mind. And it continues 10 years later. I'm still discovering things. 10 years later, I'm still discovering.
Well, now you're talking about mods that like you can make the
not
whole
even that.
map and stuff like isn't there stuff like that you can do in those games?
Oh yeah, but I'm still like discovering stuff like that's in the base game itself that I had no idea that existed. Like for example, the Dark Brotherhood quest. I only heard like a friend really mention it when I was a kid, and I never did it. You get that quest, right, by overhearing a conversation. And then it leads you to killing someone that eventually you get a note from this organization. And all it says is, we know on it. And it's a black handprint. And then you go days of in-game time without nothing happening. And then you go lay down in a bed, and then you wake up being taken as hostage, and you have to decide which of these 3 people need to die, which leads on to a huge and long story side quest that I didn't even know existed back when I played it. Like, it's the amount of content, and right now I have some mods downloaded that I haven't even touched yet because I'm still discovering the base game. Like, I'm still discovering, like, it's insane the amount of content.
Does that make you excited for Starfield? Because, you know, like in some of the leaks that came out, or not exactly leaks, but, you know, people that previously worked there or whatnot were saying like this game has more content than it than it's worth or something like that. Or
yeah, he said like there's
said
like too
similar.
much content. He's like, there's too much content to like, and there ain't no such thing as too much content in a game that's trying to be the next Skyrim. I'll tell you that much. Unless it's crashing the game, of course, because what made Skyrim so special is the amount of times you go to do a quest and you randomly run into somebody that gives you a quest that leads you to a different quest that leads you to something else over here. You discover something batshit crazy, and you kind of forget what you were originally doing, and you come back to do that thing, and then it leads you somewhere else, and you find a cave you go in, and there's a mini story, and then it's like, it's just. I have never had a game that just like I don't want to gush over completely, but I'm really hoping Starfield recaptures that, and I think they're really gunning to have that happen with Starfield. And from at least how they're talking about it, they're talking about this game, and some knock on wood here, like it's supposed to be like the next RPG masterpiece, which I need. So,
Okay. Well, I kind of want to transition into that. I know this wasn't on the list of questions that I sent you, but I'm kind of curious. What are you expecting to possibly see at this event, and what would you be like frustrated about if they didn't show?
as like in general, like the whole event, not just Starfield related, right?
Right, just the
Okay.
whole event.
Um, we're gonna see it, but if I don't see Avowed, I'd be very, very frustrated because that game was announced back in 2020 and apparently has been in development since I believe 2018, late 2018, very early 2019. And it's supposed to be coming out mid 2023, apparently, according to, like insiders and blah, blah, blah. So if I didn't see that, I'd be heartbroken. It's a possibility we might see something from id, but I can't really be 100% sure on that because I'm hearing so many conflicting things about what they're doing online. I want to see Redfall, without a doubt.
Oh yes.
A
We
bounty,
need some multiplayers, right? We need some
Yeah.
more. Instead of relying, putting all our eggs in the basket for Halo. It'd
Yeah,
be
that needs to
nicer
stop.
to
Yeah.
like spread the love to something else.
Exactly, because you got to wait 6 months for 2 maps that you're already tired of. But
Shade. So you said, Starfield, obviously. Did you say Contraband at all?
no, but that is another game because that's being developed by the people that made Mad Max game, and I can't remember their name right now, and it's gonna drive me insane that I can't remember that developer's name, but they're fantastic. So Contraband would be an awesome. That should be there because I think they wanted it, at least according to Jez, to be at the Game Awards to have something, and I just didn't make it in time. I'm not 100% sure, but
Last
I
I
think
remember, I thought that game was supposed to drop in 2022, and then it kind of got
I think
pushed back and everything because of COVID and all that junk.
Yeah. Once again, I think I was reading things about certain people saying they wanted it originally to come out in late 2022, but like COVID, new, like kind of like a big scale project. Just COVID really fucking destroyed so many things. But I don't really know what else to expect. I'm expecting Avalanche Studios. Thank you, Matt. Brilliant studios. Mad Max is one of the best, and if you have a Series X or S, because at least on the S it got boosted to 60 frames, but if you have an X, it runs at 1080p 120 frames now.
120, yes, and
Yeah,
it is butter smooth because I was playing that game. You guys actually put me onto that game. You and Matt and Bill actually. And I was playing it in 30 at first, and like I was trying to drive, and it was just like it felt like everything was behind.
Yes, yeah.
Like I'd go to hit left, and it feel like it felt like I was moving an 18-wheeler or something like that. But once I got into 120 mode, before I moved, because now I'm using a 4K 60 only TV. But my TV upstairs, when I was playing that on my Series X, it has 120, and man, it felt like freaking butter. It felt so good.
It's so good. It's 120 frames, man. I don't understand people saying they don't see or understand the like difference. I just don't. But I mean, I understand, like, if there's such a massive visual take where it like is like ruining your experiences, because I've seen that in certain games, where they'll have a performance mode where the game just looks like complete garbage now. So I kind of get it why some people are like, I'll just take 60, because sometimes the visual fidelity can take such a hit where everything just looks like a blurry mess. But Mad Max was just fantastic. Yeah, I recommend anyone out there that hasn't played that to go play the Mad Max game.
What throws me off is when people say 30 FPS is fine. You get the best.
No, it's not.
You get
Anymore.
the best quality, like visual quality, and I'm just like, bro, like
it was
you
fine
gotta
during the
be
360
lying
era.
saying that. You gotta be lying. Like, I don't care if I see the rain a little bit more clear or the snow is a little bit more dense. Like, I don't want to play in 30. Like, I just don't. Especially with these new consoles. Unless it's 8K 30, like, you can miss me with it.
Yeah,
even in 8K, I'd still, even if they offered an 8K 30, if they had a 4K 60 version, I'd probably still want to play that.
Yeah, me too. Like, it's just like 30 FPS to me was fine during the 360 era, but the PS4 era, it was very jarring, because it was actually jarring for me in the 360 era, because a lot of original Xbox games, not all, did actually run at 60. There was a lot of original Xbox games. Time Splitters Future Perfect, one of my favorite FPS games of all time, for example, ran at 60. So when I went to the next generation of console and like everything was running at half the frame, I'm like, cool, this is running at native 1080p. For the time, that was a big deal.
Yes, it was, and it's expensive.
Expensive, yeah. I'm like, that's great and all, but this plays like I got like shards of glass in my eye, and that might be one of the reasons I stopped playing, because everything just felt uncomfortable to play. A lot of things did, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, what was it? Dang, the thought that I had just left my head, so I'm just gonna move on. Okay, so this is interesting because I know you have probably a couple different genres, but what genre does Mike just not like that much? Like, if you were just to say, I'll give it a try, but I'm not really stoked. Because if I know you like to try a various amount of games, but like at the same time, what you really don't like.
JRPGs have an uphill battle for me personally. I'm not gonna swipe them like with a broad stroke and say they're all bad, because they're not. I played some I fucking adore. Valkyria Chronicles, I believe it is. It's a turn-based third-person shooter game, and it's fantastic. It is absolutely a fantastic game, and I recommend everyone to go play that series. They did a remake of the original one. I haven't played it yet, but that's a fantastic game. JRPGs have always kind of had an uphill battle for me. Like, I'm not a huge into the whole. My phone. I'm not really big into the whole. I don't know, just the whole anime game type things, which not saying all JRPGs are that. That's like, look at Elden Ring. But yeah, it's really JRPGs, but I'll still give them a shot. There's like no reason, if I can afford it or if it's on Game Pass, I'll absolutely give it a shot.
Right, if it's on Game Pass, might as well give it a shot. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I feel you on that. I'm kind of dabbling. Yeah, it is an uphill battle for me as well. Like it took Scarlet Nexus to be a game where I was like, oh my god, this JRPG right here gets a 100% exception. But for the most part, yeah, I feel you. just not dying to play a JRPG
Yeah.
unless they announce it properly. And I feel like that's a lot with most video games. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at Square Enix, the way they announced freaking Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy,
Babylon Falls is a masterpiece.
yeah, you know, like just the way that some of these companies go around marketing their games makes it really unattractive to play, or it seems unattractive to play until you actually spend the money, or you hear word of mouth, oh man, this game is really good, and then you actually got to go try it. But yeah, I feel like it's not just Square Enix either. I mean, there's a lot of different companies that, and I can even say Microsoft as well. Like sometimes it feels like they're so out of touch with the community and what the wants and the needs are that we kind of end up just kind of stuck standing looking like I thought you had my back, but now I'm waiting when you told me to wait before. Now I'm waiting twice.
Yeah, it's that's one of the things that, like, I feel like, and this, I don't know if this is too random, let me know if it is and I can steer it back. That's one of the reasons I'm almost kind of happy about the Bethesda acquisition. I really don't care that much about Activision. I mean, they got Diablo, which I like, but other than that, it's really the ZeniMax, like Arcane, id, Bethesda. Like, realistically, that's all I give a shit about. But but one thing that's kind of what makes me hope Microsoft kind of starts to learn from example, because Bethesda knows how to put on a show. Bethesda knows how to. I understand 76 wasn't the most beloved thing ever, but they fixed it. And I understand 4 wasn't hated, but it was, just kind of like, accepted. It was just not hated. But Bethesda knows how to do a show. Bethesda knows how to advertise their product. Bethesda knows how to build hype for their games. And Bethesda knows how to keep people interested. So I'm kind of hoping that Microsoft is like, okay, we got to really learn from you guys, because they kind of have their moments of being like, what the hell are you guys doing here?
I know, and they're doing that all with an engine that most people hate.
Yeah.
The creation engine.
Yeah.
Everybody freaking hates that engine, but somehow they make game of the year quality games out of it, and it's just like kind of mind blowing.
Yep.
All right, well, moving forward, I kind of want to know, because you played a lot of different games last year, and I know it because I was there to see it. I want to know the best 3 games that you had last year that you played. Whether you completed them or not is whatever. But like the best 3 games that you played from 2021 and the GOAT game of them, of those 3.
Well, obviously one of them is Doom Eternal. I'm not going to mention Skyrim because I really restarted playing that this year. I adored The Ascent. The Ascent to me is a top-down masterpiece. It has its issues that very much need to be addressed, but I don't even think it still has New Game Plus mode yet on Xbox, which was
they have it on PlayStation, but not on Xbox. I thought.
I think it's on PC and not PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
And Xbox. It's on PC. If it's on PlayStation, dude, I need to go kick some ass. But anyways, but I'm trying to think, what would the third one be? Not Nazi Zombie Army Trilogy. What else did I play? Mad Max, actually. But that's kind of an easy answer. Let's think of something else. Nazi Zombie Army 4. That game is fucking awesome.
Going around stomping around, that's fun.
Yeah, dude. All you do, if you just want to turn your brain off and just kill a bunch of undead Nazis, like it's perfect. There's a difficulty for every mood you could be in. I may or may not have bought all this. They gotta stop milking. They're still releasing DLC for that game, and you're kind of like, oh, that's a good thing. But like, it's really they need to let the game die. Like, it's time. It needs to stop now.
That's an interesting take. I've never heard somebody that likes a game say, this needs to die.
Well, the reason is that the story now is not completed with its main game, and unlike Doom Eternal completing it with 2 DLCs, they now have like 10 different story DLC. I mean, you know what though? I guess if Destiny can do it and you can't even go back and replay them, you know what? I guess anything's anything's allowed. But I think the recent DLCs have kind of approached it like a more open map and it doesn't really fit well for the gameplay style of Zombie Army, in my opinion. It's very much get to save from to save from to save from kind of thing.
Okay.
But
It's
yeah,
kind of
it's
like
a fun
Left 4
time.
Dead almost.
Yeah, it really is like Left 4 Dead, but killing Nazis, zombie Nazis, Nazi zombies. But yeah, I'm excited for Sniper Elite 5 too. But yeah, those would be my 3 games.
And then the best one of the 3 for you?
Doom Eternal.
Okay, fair. That was easy. So now I'm going to ask you this next question, but I'm going to kind of punch you in the stomach after I ask it. Or you'll kind of feel what I'm saying. So I want you to tell me your favorite studio and what game best represents it, but I don't want you to use Doom or Skyrim. Now look at you, you're wheezing now. That's what I was
What else do I play? What else do I play? Like, what else do I do? What else do I actually don't know what else do I play. What do I do with my life now that I think about it? Oh man. Wait, does it have to be first party?
No, well, it doesn't.
Oh.
Well, like I said, this is just a developer, publisher that you adore, and the game that best represents it.
I want to maybe say Blizzard with Diablo, but Blizzard right now is kind of like in a weird spot. What I'm hearing from Diablo 4 sounds fantastic though, but I think Diablo, Ziggy here is a demon gremlin in Diablo. They scare me greatly with how good they are at that game. If you think I'm good at Doom, you gotta think we'll be like max rank in Diablo in like a day. It's horrifying. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, it's I don't know how they do it, but yeah, probably Diablo and Blizzard because I don't know. To me, like it just represents like how fun those games can be. I can understand that like people aren't super thrilled with Diablo 3 because they made it a bit not like even just easier. It's less in-depth RPG mechanics, which I hope they do bring back for the 4th one, which I think they already said they are. But to me, it's just a fun game, and I originally played that game on my Switch. Believe it or not, I had a buddy that when I got a Switch, actually, fun fact, I had a friend actually buy me a Switch as a gift when I was pretty sick, as a gift to just kind of like cheer me up. And so when that happened, I went out and bought Diablo because that was his favorite game at the time. So yeah, I definitely Diablo. Definitely Diablo. It's kind of getting weird for me to say that word over and over. Diablo. It's just fun, and I really recommend it. And they just patched it so it runs at native 4K 60 on the Xbox as well now. I actually was one of the squeaky wheels that got that fixed, by the way, because there was a bug where it would only play the Xbox One version and not the One X version. And when I told you I messaged every single Blizzard and like Microsoft person that could handle that about it, and made a noise on the forums and stuff, I did. I absolutely did because I'm like, I paid for this shit, so work like.
Mike's giving him a hard day.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was polite about it, of course. Every day, yeah, I was polite about it. But once I kind of made it a known thing, people on the forums, I mean, people knew about it, but when you kind of started throwing it in people's face to go take a look, like, oh shit, you're right, and so it became more of a
Priority.
publicly known, priority, something like that. But it's funny how they didn't fix it until after the announcement of the acquisition, which is very funny.
They wanted to make sure that they seemed like they were bringing you something fresh, right?
Yeah.
Fresh from Xbox. All right. Oh wait, you're talking about the Xbox the Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, moving forward, I kind of want to know, and I feel like you've repeated this probably already, because I think this game starts with the letter A, but I'm going to ask you anyways, what game are you most excited for coming?
What's the letter A? The hell's coming with the sex of the letter A?
Wow, really? I thought you would be thinking Avowed, but
Yeah, I'm thinking like immediate future, but yeah, sorry, I was thinking like this year. Sorry, yeah, Avowed, absolutely. It's probably for me Avowed then Starfield, just because I know I'm a fucking nerd for RPG mechanics, but in my heart, I know I'm more excited for Starfield. But yeah, but that's a good point because to me, I'm thinking Starfield, Avowed, and then everything else Microsoft release. I guess I'll check it out. But really, I just need those two games, and I can just be like a drug addict in the corner of my room, just overdosing on like RPG statistics and like, just probably shouldn't make that joke, but
just getting a nose full of Starfield. Yeah, just
yeah.
sniffing it on up. Got it.
Yeah, that's a good point though, because normally I would say Avowed, but lately because I'm replaying Skyrim, it's got me way more interested in Starfield because of the fact they keep being like, this is supposed to be like the next Skyrim. So
right.
But yeah, Avowed, without a doubt.
We haven't seen gameplay of either one of these games yet, so I mean, we could say this one day, but once we actually see the gameplay, it could completely just turn your decision, right?
Yeah. Anything can happen. I mean, it's a possibility that I might see gameplay of Starfield and go, ooh. And then see gameplay of Avowed and go, and then...
Or the other way around, yeah.
Or the other way around. I really hope not, though. I really hope not. And I think they're trying to take as many steps as possible to make sure that isn't the case. But... Right. Not just for Michael, but for everyone.
I mean, let's hope they've been radio silent for a pretty good reason, you know, because compared to last year, like if you were involved with, you know, watching Xbox and seeing some of the stuff that just the way that they were moving last year, it seems like they were screaming on top of a roof compared to this year, where it seems like they're in timeout.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean with Starfield, or like how
just talking about games and what they kind of got coming and what to look out for, like Xbox was very in your face and ready to talk about it compared to this year, after pretty much after that announcement about Activision Blizzard. They just like they went to like an area with no internet or nothing. Like they're just working.
I feel like hell, even after like E3 of last year, they kind of just, I mean, realistically, no. Like kind of after the last backwards compatibility batch of games, and even then, really still not new games, even though to me backwards compatible is.
You can almost say since the 20-year event.
Yeah, I mean, other than what else did they announce other than Redfall and Contra? I mean, I don't want to say they didn't announce anything. That's like, but I don't know. But after really last E3, they did go to like, all right, we're just gonna let our teams work on things now, and you motherfuckers are gonna see it when you're ready, when it's ready to be seen. And that was kind of just, you know, and I respect it to a point, but it definitely hurt. It definitely was painful just to be like sitting there like, I want a new flashy toy, you know what I mean? Just to look at and to be excited for, and like, so.
And Halo had us pretty excited for like 3 months. I'm not gonna lie, it was like a solid 3 months of like fun, and then it was like I feel like everybody was kind of in the same boat to where it was like, all right, well, I played these 6 levels like 900 times.
Yeah.
I'm ready to hear something, and then they don't really, and then you know the what is it called, the roadmap gets pushed back, so we don't even know what's like how do you push back a roadmap?
This is what breaks my heart. Certain affinity that's helping them should not be working on a battle royale mode. They should just be working on finishing this game and pumping out new multiplayer maps. And because now all the streamers, if this battle royale mode comes out and it's a banger, they're gonna be like, we were right. It's like, no, Halo Infinite would have been fine if it just had a steady flow of content, which is its biggest issue. It was just this steady flow.
That and game modes, man. Like
that,
like I want to play Infected and Griffball. Like I'm not the best Halo player, so when I hop in Halo, I just want to have fun and do goofy crap and make kills that seem like kind of dumb and easy, but fun. right?
You know how much of a sweat I was in Halo, dude. That's one of the reasons I had to stop playing it. I was getting Matt would like have to me down, would have to calm me down after losing because I'm just like the most hyper competitive human being, like with everything if I can. Or like I don't even know, but like I had to step back and I was like, I was having desync where I'd punch someone in the back and it wouldn't register. I was just like, I can't deal with this shit. I'm just like I'm losing years of my life due to stress and there's desync. I'm like, I'll wait.
I feel similar. Like I have that similar anxiety and like rage for Rocket League. Like something about that game. When I like miss my shot or I pass the ball and my teammate's just an idiot, like I'm yelling. Like I mean, pretty much like y'all would be yelling for somebody not doing the objective or something.
Yeah.
You know. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? I just busted my ass for the last 4 minutes of this game to get you the ball, and you're just gonna fucking drive away from it.
Matt just said Mike's got a bit of spice to him when he plays Halo. Dude, I just like there's a reason why whenever I go play Halo, I turn off like messaging to anyone because I haven't done that since I was a teen. But there's sometimes, dude, I just want to send someone a message. Like, just
yes, I know exactly what you're saying. Especially when it's a horrible teammate that you just keep like, you just keep seeing them not doing anything or just being worthless.
I would literally turn off my messaging on the system level of Xbox just so it'd keep me messaging someone that was doing something. I mean, I stopped doing that when I was in my teenage years, but like I'm telling you, if someone came at me, it's game over for them.
Almighty.
But nah, someone like when people message me, I'm just like it's funny because I have that energy and like I want to shit talk people, but I'm like I don't have the energy to really pretend somebody exists that doesn't exist. So they're just people online. They don't exist.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, might as well, right?
Yeah, that's just how I've handled it. Is if there's someone that's being obnoxious and annoying, they don't exist and they're not important.
Yeah, it's like Twitter. Somebody says something terrible, and it's like this isn't a real place. This isn't fake.
This place is fake. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to the next thing I'd like to ask you is, you've talked about so many older games that you got into and really enjoyed playing. I'm wondering if any of those you would like to bring back and have, the current modern, AAA banging kind of quality. Like going ahead and reach back to your past and pull back 2 games that you would want to bring to now and have just completely redone.
I already got one. I think of the other one. I forgot my other one. Let me think. Which is odd because the series still exists, but not the spin-off. So it's gonna sound weird. Mech Assault, one of them.
Nice.
One of my favorite original Xbox games. I got it for free without even knowing it for the first month. Apparently my family bought a bundle that came with the game, and I always thought it was a demo disc, so I was like, I'll play it eventually, and then I found out it was the full game. But second would actually be Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. And that, to me, and you're kind of like, Battlefield still exists, and like, yeah, it does. But that was an interesting mechanic because the single player, you could hot swap to any single soldier on the battlefield at any given point in time.
That's dope.
So it was so cool being like, so you're like, you teleport, you transport to the guy that's on the gunner nest and the chopper above. Then you teleport to the guy with the shotgun that's right around the corner that can rush around the corner. And it was just so fun. It was
Kind of gives me some Conflict Desert Storm feels.
Yeah, it kind of does, honestly. I mean, it wasn't the most stable game at times. Who really cares? It was fun as hell. It was so fun. And I remember this one mission that drove me insane. It was like a stealth mission in a Battlefield game, so you can already imagine how fun of an idea that was. But it was a really good game. I just love the idea of like they had like a level that was kind of like D-Day like, and what was cool is you would play both sides of the story. you would fight as the NATO and you would fight as the Chinese Republic. And you would listen to their TV broadcasts of what they were telling their people. And it was really cool. Like there'd be like so like there'd be a fight, and like sometimes like there was this one fight where like you have to stop this train that was like carrying something of I don't know, it was some weird thing. And on the NATO forces, it really was like a train filled with like explosives and all this crazy stuff. But when you get to the Chinese like commercial, radio broadcasters saying like, NATO forces destroys food supplies and in transit to, it's been so long I can't remember the exact thing they say, but it was really cool that like you fought on both sides. You kind of saw both of their sides of propaganda, and you kind of at times kind of had to decide who was really kind of telling the truth. It wasn't really, the point of the game, but sometimes you were kind of like, all right, who's telling the truth here? Yeah, I love that, the comeback. That was so much fun, without a doubt.
I think people forget about how popular like military games were back in the day.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like back in the day, it wasn't just Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty was almost like an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
You had SOCOM, Medal of Honor, Ghost Recon back on when it was like an actual kind of army game.
Yeah.
Instead of a kind of
Open
an Assassin's Creed kind of feeling game.
It's so weird.
Conflict Desert Storm, obviously. Let's see, Battlefield Bad Company was insane back in the day. That was a really cool and just like the characters in Bad Company had they had character. They were really cool, and they just had their own attitudes within the game. It didn't feel so like it didn't feel like your character was dead inside.
No, yeah, And just to answer my friend real quick, the game is called Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. It was on the original Xbox, PS2, and then it got a remaster / re-release, or maybe just a next-gen version. Pardon me, I'm drinking ginger ale. On the 360. I don't know if it ever got a PC release, though. I don't think it really did. I think it was more of the console version of Battlefield 2. But yeah. So yeah, like I said, like there's a time military shooters, like to me, they were like my thing. I adored Ghost Recon back in the day. I simply loved the ones on the original Xbox. Then I loved Advanced Warfighter 1 and 2. And even though Rainbow Six isn't exactly a military game, it's more of like a SWAT police force type of deal. Mm-hmm. It's still very militaristic in the way it kind of handles itself. Because the SWAT is more of like a militarized kind of like branch kind of when you think about it. So, there's just, I miss it really. Like it was a really cool time. It was cool time.
It was a great time, man, because you could really get those vibes fairly easy and in a lot of different directions to where it feels like now where military shooters are kind of gone away, and whenever you say military shooter, people think Call of Duty, and that's not the first thing I think of when somebody says military shooter at all.
No.
But now we've got to the question, which we only have like 5 questions left. But we've got to an interesting question because I kind of want to know what Hard Days Mike doesn't really like about gaming. So, like, what frustrates you about gaming? It could be, like, broken games, the community, or yada, yada, yada. Just give me your take of some of the things that you really don't enjoy about gaming.
Realistically, it more so just be community related. Or mainly also kind of like hive mind mentality of things, just because someone doesn't like something. I mean, it also depends on how they handle themselves when they say they don't like something, but there's like certain people, if you don't like a game out there and you're just kind of like, I don't like this, you gave it a shot and you're like, I just don't like it because it doesn't feel good on, I don't like how this feels or how this mechanic is. People don't have to instantly go and fight them about why that mechanic is the best thing in the whole world. And like, unless that person is like arguably trying to say that makes it a bad game, then I totally understand being like, hey, shut the hell up, because you're kind of like giving your point of view. But when people are like, yeah, I don't really like this because of this and this, it's okay to have a conversation about it, of course. But there's certain times where people just explode, violently. Sorry, I'm still getting over my cold, so I'm choking on my own mucus.
Oh, yuck.
Um, so, yeah, that's mainly the kind of the thing is that fanboys. Like when I was only a fanboy, it was because of the whole DRM thing, and then that kind of stopped. But like, yeah, really, it's just community. People just gotta be nicer to each other. Really, that's really it.
Okay. Well, I feel like that was a good enough answer. Pretty simple to the point.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I kind of want to know what would be a dream come true. Like, what would be something that would make you more comfortable or happy with gaming just all around?
Could this be like a game that I want, or like what do you like?
This is a dream, so it's anything you want it to be.
One thing that would make me beyond happy is to see Free Radical's Battlefront 3 come back from the dead. That game looked like it was going to be a masterpiece, and they just seemed like they needed more time and more funding because the scope of that game was huge. Space to ground combat, full on customization. And it breaks my heart every time that we didn't get it, and it ended up becoming a PSP game called Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron, which is a great game, but it runs at like 20 FPS on a good day. And it just, it's on a PSP. So there's only so much you can do with that compared to the 360 at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's your dream come true. That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right, so now we kind of got towards the end, and I just want to know, like, what does Mike enjoy doing outside of gaming other than long walks?
Damn you. Nature's like my favorite thing. Napping, really. I mean, outside that, I love music. Absolutely love music. It's probably half the time the only reason I do anything in this world is because of music. It's my motivation for like anything. I'm not saying like I want to be a musician or something, but it's really music.
I think you and Matt could come out with a good rap album to rival Bill.
To
Bill in his place. Yeah. Do like a diss track with Matt.
Diss track. But also history. I love history. But especially studying World War I and World War II. But really, it's nature is my main thing. Like walking is my main thing, which I have to cut back on due to health reasons a bit. But I mean, I have to keep it like steady. I'm not going to stop walking. That'd be worse for me than. It'd be just as bad yeah, really, it's just that. Honestly, I'm not the most interesting man to be quite honest with you.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. You keep it simple, and that's good enough for you. That's good enough for me. So, before we close this out with the last question, I want to ask you: do you happen to have any questions for me at all?
I think I already asked you this before, but why Ham Solo? Like, what is the lore of Ham Solo 05?
Like the reason that I was named that?
Yeah, like what is the lore in that? I've always kind of like wanted to ask you that.
It's because of Battlefront 2. It's because of Battlefront 2. And me playing that game for over 8 hours straight.
Really? Is it EA's Battlefront 2 or Pandemic's Battlefront 2?
Pandemic's. It was the old one. It was the old one. I don't really like the new Battlefronts that much.
Me neither.
They don't.
The old.
They just don't feel right. It's not that the gameplay isn't fun because it tries to recapture what you had in the original Xbox.
It really does try.
It attempts to, but for some reason I just don't get that same feeling of just. And that whole, I don't know, maybe it was because I was offline a lot and I'd play like 2, 3, 4 player and just run around and without care and just destroy stuff. And it was part of it was part of the story and all that jazz. Like, I don't know, just the feeling of it felt a little bit better, especially sitting right next to people while I'm playing compared to now where everything is online. So the disconnect is like abundant.
Yeah, we gotta talk about Battlefront 2 then, man, because one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh, it is fantastic. It is fantastic. I was playing it for over 8 hours straight. My cousin, which decided to rename himself Sham Solo 05, for whatever reason, just like Bill switching his name to Bill Solo 05. Everyone's just trolling my name all of a sudden. But yeah, fantastic. But he came back home, or not home, because he didn't live with me at the time. But I had my own party house where we'd just like drink and kick it, watch football, and obviously game and stuff like that. And we were drinking one night, and we ended up waking up pretty early in the morning, and he wanted to get down on Battlefield for a little bit before he went to work. Might I add, this was like at like 6 a.m. we woke up, and he had to get ready for work, and he had to be there, at like 8 or 9 o'clock. And I was just like, yo, you want to throw in a game real quick? So he started gaming with me, but then he had to leave. And once he got back home, he's like, have you been sitting in that same spot the whole time? And I was like, well, I used the restroom and like ate some food, but yeah, I've been sitting here playing this game. He's like, damn, you're going Ham Solo. And I was like, oh, I like that name.
Ham Solo. Oh,
so
God.
Ever since then, back in, I want to say it was like 2009 or 2010, I adopted the name Ham Solo strictly because my cousin said that to me while I was playing Battlefront 2.
That is my favorite origin story of all time. I love that. I'm so glad I heard that. That's incredible. What a game to get that from too, man. Holy shit. I love that.
Yeah. I'm happy. I'm proud to say that game gave me that name, because that game was that game is goated.
It's perfect, and I'd still recommend anyone go and play right now. Honestly.
Yeah, I actually own it from my original Xbox. It's still a great game. And it wasn't even me that wanted it. It was my wife. My wife was like, "Yo, like, I remember this game," and I was like, "I remember it too. It's where my gamer tag came from." And she's like, "You gotta buy this game. You have to have that if you're gonna own an original Xbox. You gotta own this game." And I was like, "I'm not gonna argue with you on that one."
Yeah.
All right, and that's it. The very last thing I'm gonna have you do is just describe gaming for me in just 3 words before we get out of here.
Stupid, smelly nerds. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fantastic.
Fun, challenging, exciting.
All right. I like that. I like that. That you put that together really quick. A lot of other people, whenever I have them on the show, oh Lord, here goes the chat. But anyways, a lot of people I have on the show, that's like the hardest part for them. And I've had it, like Kid Smooth, for instance. I had him on the show. It took him a good like 45 seconds, maybe to a minute and a half, to think of something. It was just a dead silent moment. A little awkward. But it was back when I used to record videos, so it wasn't as bad.
Oh, okay.
But thank you everybody for showing up, showing your support for me and Hard Days Mike here. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday and Thursday as well. I got the Ash and Luca coming on the show, and also ACS Husk. You can also catch me tomorrow with Loke and Cozy Beluga at 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern time for Bullsitting, where we just talk about games, give our own ratings on stuff, and we have a little quiz that Loke likes to throw in our faces and try to trip us up on. And he screws us over with the way he asks the questions, because sometimes he'll ask the question like he'll be giving you the answer in the question, but he'll say one word that screws it up, because a lot of them are like true or false and stuff like that. So I'll be like true, and he's like, no, it wasn't 77, it was 87 or something like that. And I'm just like,
oh my God.
Go fuck yourself, Luke. But anyways,
our favorite Texan.
Yeah, our favorite Texan, absolutely. But you can also check out me and Mike, Matt Likes Games, Antoine on the Game Drain. That we have that show every Sunday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for showing up. You'll notice here at the end of the show, when I go to the end screen, that you'll be able to hear some music that my buddy Lennard Ray provided me with. He is he's a person that's been dabbling in music for quite some time. He has really good music. You can check him out on Spotify or Amazon Music. He goes by his name, Lennard Ray. Really cool guy. I've known him since I was 5 years old. But yeah, check me out on, Bull Sitting, Behind Them Sticks next week, and Game Drain this Sunday. And yeah, I appreciate your guys' time. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the evening. Mike, you want to say anything before we leave?
Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Also, Bill smells.
Fantastic. See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Come and talk to me.
Lennard Ray. That's your name.
Come and talk to me. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type, but baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation? I just wanna have that conversation with you. Come and talk to me. I just wanna have that conversation with you.
Look, see we vibing and you know it's true. Baby, what it do? Do for me and I'ma do for you. No doubt about it, Boosie. I'm a Midwest king, looking for myself a queen. Ready to chase a dream with a dope self-esteem. You find it in all I know, and that's for real. You get to shaking that ass on the floor, and I see what's real. No disrespect, I just tell it like it is. Do you ever want some kids? What your ultimate goals? Maybe I can help with those. The mo was broke when he made you a blessing. You looking like a whole buffet, and I need some seconds. You say you had promiscuous ways, that was back in the day. I'll be alive, I say I did it, that shit was a phase. So baby, take this journey with me. You can pick the time and place, this nigga isn't picky. Smile on your face, I know the deal. Sign and deliver after seal. I can see it in her eyes, this one right here for real. I just wanna have a conversation. No, I'm not your type, but baby, listen, I'm just saying. We can rule the world, just me and you, if you quit playing. Won't you take the chance with me and have that conversation?